Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. First of all, very welcome, Rafia. Very nice to see you after some time. I am proud of all your work which you are doing, and welcome to other participants as well. ये जो सेशंस हैं, ये हमने शुरू किए एज ए स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट ग्रुप, और मैंने ये देखा है कि आई हैव बीन पार्ट ऑफ मेनी स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट ग्रुप, जो एक कोर्सेरा भी अरेंज करता होता है डिफरेंट शहरों में, और इंडिया में जो ये 6 सेशन अरेंज होते हैं, वो बड़े वाइब्रेंट होते हैं। वाइब्रेंट से मुराद है लोग डिस्कशन करते हैं और डीपर टेक्निकल डिस्कशन करते हैं। और अनफॉर्चुनेटली पाकिस्तान में मैंने देखा है कि एक तो लोग इंटरेस्ट बहुत शो करने की कोशिश करते हैं, लेकिन जब एक्चुअल मौका आता है वहाँ पे वो लोग विजिबल नहीं होते हैं। और दूसरी बात यह है कि हमारे मुल्क में more than 90% of the people either have the surface knowledge or the intermediate knowledge। वो जो डीपर कन्वर्सेशन होती है उसमें लोग इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो पाते हैं, और उसकी वजह से जो हमारी यूनिवर्सिटियों में फैकल्टी है, दे ऑल्सो restrict themselves to teaching whatsoever written in the books, क्योंकि उनका इंडस्ट्री का इंटरेक्शन लिमिटेड होता है और वो जो डीपर नॉलेज है वो नहीं होती है। दूसरा ये है कि वो जो स्टूडेंट जब ग्रेजुएट होते हैं, दे आर एबल टू टॉक अबाउट डिफरेंट थिंग्स, लेकिन उन पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट्स की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे होती है और उन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का जो इंटरेक्शन होता है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द एसोसिएट टेक्नोलॉजी वो कैसे होता है, उससे उनको उसके बारे में नॉलेज नहीं होता। और इसका बहुत गहरा ताल्लुक है कि हम पीसेस में चीज़ों को कर लेते हैं, लेकिन जब उनको उन पीसेस को मिला के एक सोल्यूशन बनाना पड़ता है तो वहाँ पे पाकिस्तान में एक्सपर्टीज बहुत कम है। और इस सारी चीज़ को एड्रेस करने के लिए वी आर वर्किंग विद ओपन, विच इज़ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ पाकिस्तानी एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, और उसमें हम एक पूरा यूँ समझे कि ट्रेनिंग कोर्स लॉन्च कर रहे हैं ऑन प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट फ्रॉम कॉन्सेप्ट टू फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट। और ये हमारे यहाँ पे जो इंजीनियर और टेक्निकल लोग हैं उनको ये समझने की ज़रूरत है कि सॉफ्टवेयर के हवाले से कोड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन या हार्डवेयर के हवाले से कंपोनेंट्स को जोड़ देना इज नॉट द प्रोडक्ट। वो एक्चुअली डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन ऑफ पॉसिबिलिटी है कि इस तरीके से वो करेंगे, लेकिन वो एंड दैट इज 10% ऑफ द एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट। जब हम एक इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड की प्रोडक्ट की बात करते हैं जिसमें सस्टेनेबिलिटी है, जिसमें क्वालिटी है, जिसमें उस कॉस्ट का भी एलिमेंट है, बिकॉज यू कैन मेक अ प्रोडक्ट एट अ वेरी हायर कॉस्ट, लेकिन उसको फिर खरीदने के लिए कोई तैयार नहीं होगा। सो विच बेसिकली मीन द cost has to match the functionality of the product। so ये बहुत ही डीपर किस्म के कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, और इसके लिए we are organizing a complete training session, और वो हम मुख्तलिफ यूनिवर्सिटीज के साथ मिल के करेंगे। very soon we will have a webinar on this also। लेकिन मेरी सजेशन होगी कि ये जो हमारे 6 सेशन हैं जिनको हम ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, actually professionally speaking they shall be led by the faculty members। some faculty members shall come forward and take the responsibility of leading the discussion। ये नहीं है कि एक प्रेजेंटेशन हो गई और उसके बाद 2-4 क्वेश्चन हो गए, और दिस इज नॉट अ 6 सेशन। 6 सेशन जो होता है ना, उसमें नॉलेज का इंटरेक्शन होता है, नॉलेज का एक्सचेंज होता है। ये दिस इज काइंड ऑफ अ लेक्चर और वर्कशॉप काइंड ऑफ अ सेशन जो हम अभी कर रहे हैं। सो आई विल लुक फॉरवर्ड फॉर योर सपोर्ट एज वेल एज इंटरेस्ट in making these sessions of your own, rather than कि स्पिन लैब उनको मैनेज कर रही है, ऑर्गेनाइज कर रही है. We can always extend any kind of support, लेकिन एक्चुअली इसकी ओनरशिप जो है वो कम्युनिटी की ओनरशिप होनी चाहिए. सो दैट इज द थिंग विच आई वांट टू से, क्योंकि अब अगर आप आईटी का सीन देखो तो जो अमेरिका में जितनी बड़ी आईटी की कंपनीज हैं, चाहे वो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट है, सिस्को है, गूगल है, इन सब के जो टॉप टियर मैनेजमेंट है उसमें तकरीबन इंडियन है. और अब ये मिडल ईस्ट में भी जितनी आईटी रिलेटेड कंपनीज हैं ये होता जा रहा है, और उसकी वजह से जो पाकिस्तानी आईटी सेक्टर है इसके लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज आर गेटिंग more and more reduced. So और जब तक हम इसकी खुद ओनरशिप नहीं लेंगे, we will never be able to solve a solution. So that is my suggestion. Over to Hashim, and so I'm very thankful to Hashim. Hashim जितना religiously इन सारे सेशंस को ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहा है और लीड कर रहा है, so thank you very much, Hashim. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. With this, we can move to our next agenda item, and that is going to be Dr. Rafia Mumtaz. She'll be speaking on crop health mapping using some of the latest technologies. I'll stop. I think I'm already stopped sharing. Oh, yes. Dr. Rafia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Hashim Saab and Sir Arshad, for enlightening us with your kind words. I will be talking about this multimodal approach for crop health mapping and how we have integrated two modalities of data, that is the IoT data and the drone imagery data, the spectral data, to generate more enriched crop health maps. So, little introduction about myself. I'm a PhD from University of Surrey, and I did that in 2010. And after that, I did a postdoc as well from the same university. Remained an HOD for the Department of IT nearly about 3 years, and currently serving as the director of Internet of Things Lab at NASIX. My research areas, they include remote sensing, satellite image processing, IoTs, machine learning, applied machine learning, and data analytics. So far, I have around 48 publications, and most of them, they are ISI impact factor journals. I've been awarded 2 design patents, 6 they are still under review. One of them is related to agriculture, and the other one is related to the air quality monitoring. So far, I have 15 collaborations, including international, national organization and industry as well. 2 industries, Alphos Technology and Chakta Biocare. And so far, currently, 4 of my funded projects, they are in progress. And so far, we have secured around 43 million of funding from different national and international organizations, including DART, GCRF, Erasmus+, NCI, and HEC as well. And these are the 2 awards that I have won so far in 2018: the Best Research Award by NASIX, and the Women of Wonder Award, which was awarded by an NGO in 2021, early 2021. So coming to the contents of my talk, first I will be discussing that what is the motivation and need behind the smart agriculture, what are different existing solutions available in the market, and what are their good things and their limitations or drawbacks. What is the value proposition that we have added? What is the cutting edge of our system? What are upcoming features? And eventually, I'm going to conclude the talk. So motivation and need behind this entire work is that number one is the climate is changing very drastically. We have weather extremities. Nowadays, the weather is not following the pattern that was following a decade ago. So that erratic change in the weather has impacted the crop pattern as well. And as the farmer is actually relying on its knowledge base, old knowledge base, and following the classical farming practices or old farming practices. Therefore, due to lack of technological solutions, we are not generating or updating the crop calendars. Therefore, due to that previous knowledge of regarding the weather conditions, that when they have to irrigate the crop and when they have to sow the crop. Due to that, the yield of the crop is affected, and generally we every year Pakistan is having a loss or facing a loss in the crop yields. Another important factor is the mismanagement of irrigation. Generally, irrigation is pre-scheduled. So whenever you cultivate a crop, then maybe, for example, you have cultivated a crop in October, and um, uh, the irrigation is pre-scheduled, that will going to be done after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, without realizing whether the crop actually needs the water or not. So this eventually results in the wastage of resources such as water and electric power as well. Another important factor is the ground surveys. So ground surveys, they are very laborious and a very time-consuming task, and they becomes very challenging if the agriculture land is covering a very large area. And moreover, it is not possible for a farmer to cover each and every part of the crop. And let's suppose if he finds a small portion which is affected by pest attack or fungicides, and then he will going to apply the pests in a small portion of crop, then he will going to apply the pesticide on the entire crop. So eventually the crop will going to lose the organic content. Next important thing is that there is no remote monitoring of the crops, and the data is not collected in real time. Therefore, usually the data is synthesized or assimilated very late, usually after harvesting. And definitely there are variation in the statistical figures, and due to lack of retrieval of that important data, we cannot apply corrective actions. One important thing I just would like to add here, that satellite imagery is one of the important thing that we can also use to capture the data related to these crops. But the thing is that and it is one of the very old technology of remote sensing that is being used for acquiring the information regarding the crops. But the thing is that if we want to monitor the crop very frequently, then satellite images, they are not available with that much of frequency. Moreover, satellite images, they have medium to low to medium resolution, which are covering a very large area of crop, which may be suitable for larger studies, but not suitable for the region of interest, or maybe for a small scale land. In addition to that, if we are looking for the satellite images which are very high in resolution, then the revisit time of that satellite is very long, and due to that, we won't be able to address those problems where the images, they are required at a very high rate or high frequency. For example, nutrient stress monitoring, or maybe where we have to monitor the pest attack, something like that. Another important factor which need attention is the fertilizer management. The classical way of applying the fertilizer in the crop is that they spread the fertilizer in a very non-uniform fashion, so it is not ubiquitously spread across the field, and that is why some portion of the field is having more fertilizer, and the other part is not receiving the enough fertilizer, and due to that, the organic content is varied across the crop. So this is another important thing that needs to be addressed. And the last is the disease spread monitoring. Recently, I've started a new work in wheat rust disease monitoring, which is a very important problem, especially pertaining to the northern areas of Pakistan. And this rust disease should be detected at a very early stage, otherwise it may damage 30% of the crop within 1 month or after its first appearance. So it is very important that we should monitor these diseases at a very early stage, so that we can address or we can arrest these problems there and then. So the existing solutions which are available in the market, they are basically categorized into two major classes. One is the sensor-based system, and the other one is totally or entirely relying on the drone imagery. So if we take the example of these CropX or TerraTech or Motive, these are the three systems, three very famous system, which mainly uses different kinds of sensors to capture the soil moisture or temperature readings or humidity or air temperature, and they have some kind of web portals or mobile app to visualize the data and to see how the crop is performing. Then this one, which is Gigabyte, it is a solution which is primarily focused um, towards providing solutions regarding greenhouse farming. So the previous three that I've just mentioned, they were not regarding the greenhouse farming. These systems, they are just installed in the open land, and once they are installed in the open field, then there are so many variables involved that it is not possible for such kind of system to actually incorporate the control part as well. So the IoT system mainly comprising of the monitoring and the actuation part. So these sensor-based systems which are installed in the open field, they primarily focused on the monitoring part of the system. But Gigabyte, which is focusing on the greenhouse farming, greenhouse farming, you're basically covering the small area and you have a controlled environment as compared to the one where you have a system in the open field where you don't have a control environment. So in Gigabyte, they are also providing the actuation part and as well as the monitoring part. Next, if you consider the drone-based imagery, then these are some of the most common or famous systems or vendors which are providing the drone-based systems. And basically, these drone-based systems, they utilize the spectral data to generate some kind of vegetation indices or vegetation index. One of the most common index is the normalized difference vegetation index, and it is also known as NDVI mapping or NDVI index. And this index is primarily used to assess the chlorophyll content of the crop. Wherever you find the chlorophyll content of the crop, the index value is more towards 1, and if it is not the chlorophyll content, if it is, for example, the soil or the crop is maybe undergoing some moisture stress and it is yellowish in color, then the index value will be closer to 0. And then based on these images, they perform some kind of advanced analytics as well, maybe incorporating machine learning, or based on that collection of data or historical data, they may be generating certain trend analysis or time series analysis, or maybe giving certain kinds of prediction or estimating the crop yield or crop health. So the limitations of these two types of system is that if we consider the sensor-based system, then these sensor-based systems, they are definitely limited to the monitoring of the crop parameters, and very few systems they offer the control part as well, especially if you have system in the open field. Other thing is that they are powered by battery, and as they are powered by battery, so battery has a certain lifetime. So after that, it needs charging or replacement. And moreover, if you have a sensor-based system, then the sensor also has a certain life or age, and after that you need to replace or recalibrate the sensor as well. Considering the drone imagery, the major drawback of totally relying on this type of system is that we cannot have real-time crop data. The drone service, they are primarily dependent on the weather conditions. If the weather is not good, we cannot fly a drone. And definitely images, they are heavy in size as compared to the sensors data. So definitely they consume more time to process. So what we did, that we have combined these two modalities of data, the sensors data and the drone imagery data, to generate more enriched information regarding the crop health, so that we can see how the combination of these two modalities of data, they're gonna work out for us. So if you see this diagram, this is basically the high-level system architecture of our system. If you see, if I start from here, we have IoT nodes which are shown here or which are designed here in the form of a star topology. So we have slave nodes and we have master node. And these slave nodes, they are basically comprising of all these parameters: air temperature, air humidity, soil moisture sensor, and soil temperature sensor. So these slave nodes, they are sending data to the master node using LoRa technology. We have used LoRa communication technology because that is best suited for the agriculture operation, as we have a clear line of sight between the two communication nodes. And once this master node, receives the entire data, then this master node sends the data to the local server, or it can be a cloud using the GSM technology or Wi-Fi. And after that, we can perform different kinds of analytics, and we have developed a dashboard of services as well, a web portal where we basically analyze different patterns in terms of time. And if we consider this drone imagery, so we have multispectral image and we have this optical image. So we are basically gathering data in these two forms. But for analysis purposes, we are only using multispectral data. And the multispectral data, it is consisting of two bands. One is the near infrared band and the other one is the red band. And these two bands, they are very important to compute this NDVI mapping. So once we have this NDVI map is color coded, and wherever you are seeing the green color in the crop, it basically representing the chlorophyll content there. And wherever you are observing the orangish or yellowish color, it means that the chlorophyll content is low. But whenever we are analyzing such kind of maps, we have to also consider the temporal information as well. Let me give an example of a wheat crop. Now let's suppose if we have cultivated the wheat crop in October and now we are obtaining the NDVI maps in January or February. In January or February, the crop is very, very green. So if that point in time, if we observe such kind of a map, then this means that the crop is highly under stress and we are having a very less greener content in that area. But if this same image is, same image can be related to the time period when the crop is actually being harvested, because the wheat crop turns golden at the time of harvesting. So this, we expect that this NDVI map should be completely yellowish or orangish in color. And if we observe any greener content at that time, then it means that there may be some weeds there which needs to be removed immediately so that they may not damage the crop. So here you can see we have the NIR map and then we have NDVI mapping, and this blue one is basically representing that we have incorporated this NDVI map and we have used the IoT sensor data to generate the health map. This is one of the image that is showing that how we have deployed this master node and the slave nodes in National Agriculture Research Center. So we have run our pilot study there. This is another image which is showing the enclosure of the soil moisture sensor and soil temperature sensor, and we have also attached this ATtiny microcontroller here so that it can recalibrate itself. It doesn't need to depend on the master node to calibrate the sensor. And this is another image which we have taken from our drone, and this is basically showing that how our nodes, they have been deployed in a star topology fashion. This one is the master node, and all these other ones, they are representing the slave nodes. And if you see this image, this is basically representing a 3x3 matrix, and this is how we have placed our nodes in the NARC field. If you see, this cell 5 is actually representing the master node, and the 8 other cells surrounded by the cell 5, they are representing the slave nodes. So each cell is comprising of 0.15 acre of area, and the entire field is of 1.5 acre. Initially we bought this DJI drone, and then we bought separate multispectral camera, and then we attach that camera to this. And this camera is basically used to collect the spectral data from which we have extracted the NDVI maps and further the health maps. This is another image which is representing again the spectral data, and we have also shown the cells here so that you can better visualize how the poles they have been installed there in the crop field. And this is the NDVI map which has been generated by the Centira software company software, and this is the legend here which you can see. So these blue spots, they are basically representing the points which are used to define the trajectory of the drone flight. And the other green one is shown by the green color healthy area, and then the stressed and the soil region are shown by other colors. So if I just take you back again to this slide, so the next, the important thing to understand here is that we have these NDVI maps, and they just tell you the information that this area is having higher greener content and this area is not having the greener content, or maybe this is yellowish in color, and we presume that maybe this is happening due to moisture stress, or maybe some other factors, or maybe there is an attack of disease, something like that. So for that purpose, the integration of IoT data is very important, because from the IoT data, we are actually getting 4 parameters: the temperature, air humidity, then soil temperature, and soil moisture. So wherever we have found any stressed region by considering this NDVI map, then we have observed the IoT data readings, and then we have seen what is the major cause that has actually caused this stress, crop stress, whether it is happening due to the soil moisture, or it is happening to maybe to the high temperature or high humidity. Maybe that high humidity has led to the disease, wheat rust disease, or maybe the high temperature has led to the moisture stress. So the IoT sensor data has provided us that information, and due to that, we have more insight into what has actually happened with the crop when that crop was not growing properly. So if you see, these are the 3 images that we captured using drone. It is the image of November 2019, this one December, and this one is January 2020. The ellipses that I've drawn here, they're basically there to show you that I hope you are seeing that there are some yellow lines here or some yellow regions here. So these yellow shades, they are representing that the crop has certain stress or certain, maybe due to moisture stress or something like that, or but the crop is not green wherever there are some certain yellow regions present here, especially here. Now, if you see the other map which we have generated by combining the NDVI data and the IoT data, we see that these maps, they are more clear, or they are providing a more clear representation of this crop field. Wherever you are observing this light blue color, this is showing the stressed regions, and wherever you are observing the dark blue color, this is showing the healthy region. So by the integration of IoT data with this NDVI maps, we have obtained more clear health maps that have provided us very clear representation of the crop health. The current feature of our solution is that we have indigenously developed these IoT nodes. We have not bought it from any vendor or from any big company. We are offering long-range data transmission as we are incorporating the LoRa technology. It works in no signal zone. It means that as we are using LoRa to transmit the data from the slave node to the master node, and the master node has the Raspberry Pi, and Raspberry Pi has storage space. So if the master node is, for example, installed somewhere where we don't have any mobile signal to transmit the data to the cloud or to the server, then at least that master node can save or store the data collected from the slave nodes, and whenever the signals there are resumed, then the data will be sent to the cloud. So we will not going to miss any reading throughout the day. It is solar powered, therefore it's a sustainable solution as well. We have developed the web portal for data visualization, and there we can also see the real-time data as well as the post-processed data as well. We have replaced the ground surveys using the drone surveys, which has provided us a lot of flexibility as well. Whenever we want to collect the data, we can, go and fly the drone and collect the data. And as compared to the ground surveys, where we are heavily dependent on a big labor to do that data and perform all that activity for us. And we have generated the health maps. So health maps are generated using the machine learning algorithm. We have the NDVI maps, and then we have the IoT sensor data, and we labeled that data with the help of an agriculture expert into different classes: healthy, unhealthy, and moderately healthy, something like that. And then we have classified data using the neural networks and generated the maps as well, as I've shown you in the previous slide. Cutting edge of our solution is that it is the multimodal data integration of two different sources of data which were dealt individually, as I've shown you, the two major categories of the system. It provides you the real-time monitoring and reporting of data, and it is easily scalable as well. You can add more sensor and more nodes, but the important thing you consider at this stage is whenever you scale up the data, definitely the cost of the system will also goes up, and you also need to consider how you are going to manage the power of the system, because that is also a very important thing. Currently, we have executed our model for wheat crop, but it can be customized for other crops as well. And we can consider other crops such as maize, rice, or any other cash crops like cotton as well too, to be considered for a system. Low maintenance is required because the system is not power hungry. We are just transmitting KBs of data, and moreover we are using LoRa technology, which is low power. And we have, to some extent, we have implemented edge computing, but we're going to extend that, and we will be using AWS Greengrass and AWS IoT Core to actually install the machine learning model, and then whenever an update of machine learning model is required, then Greengrass may connect to the IoT Core to update that, and then we can deploy that back again to our edge computing device. So if we do the comparative analysis of the two major classes of solutions which are available, one was based on the imagery, drone imagery or the satellite imagery, whatever kind of imagery, and the other one is based on the sensors data. So we have tried our best, and we have made an attempt to achieve maximum features and provide all those which were missing in the previous systems. The potential customers of our system could be progressive farmers, not the local farmers, because the system has not yet reached to the level that it can be used by a local farmer. But still, we are making efforts to make it to that level that it can be utilized by a local farmer as well. But before that, there are several prerequisites required, and one of those is that we have to educate the farmers as well, so that they can also understand how these technologies, these technological based solutions, they work. Then IoT solution providers, they can also use this system. And the next important thing is that we are generating or a lot of data, which itself is a contribution to provide a national data set, and then people can research on that data set and generate more useful insights regarding the crop health. The end user benefits or impact of this project is, first of all, it is a local or indigenous solution which is based on emerging technologies such as IoT and AI, and which is offering a wide area coverage as well. It is impactful in, or influential in reducing the entire crop survey effort significantly, because we have replaced them with the drone survey. It this kind of projects which are implemented in different universities or different research centers or small or big um, uh, industries, they are basically creating awareness for farmers education, and we should empower them to make use of this smart technology and get benefit out of it. And it is also very contributory in promoting the technology based solutions over classical or traditional farming practices. And as I mentioned earlier, the data collected will definitely going to be very fruitful or concrete for the future work as well. And this project is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, which are like end hunger or achieve food security, and also building resilient infrastructure. We have strong collaboration on this project with University of Leeds, UK, and National Agriculture Research Centre, and this project was primarily funded by HEC NRPU program. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Saiba. So if there are any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, madam, for the such informative details about the project. I have one suggestion about the project. You are saying that whenever there are no signals or transmission, then the Raspberry Pi collects the data and stores it in itself. So the suggestion is that it can be transferred to the drone also, where there are such scenarios. You can use the same technology as the master node is transferring, collecting data from the other nodes. So we can also transmit the data from the master node to the drone in the same using the same technology, and then drone can be delivering the data to the cloud later on.
Okay. Thank you very much for your kind suggestion. I would like to address your comment as well. देखिए, इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ ये आपने कहा कि जी ड्रोन को जो है मैं अगर डेटा सारा सेंड कर दूँ, बट लेट सपोज इफ़ माय ड्रोन फ्लाइट इज़ नॉट स्केड्यूल्ड, लेट सपोज के अगर वेदर ख़राब है, उसकी वजह से मे बी सिग्नल्स जो हैं वो नहीं आ रहे हैं मोबाइल के, क्योंकि डेफिनेटली हमने डोंगल यूज़ की है, तो डोंगल तभी काम करेगी जब आपके मोबाइल सिग्नल्स आ रहे होंगे। अगर मोबाइल सिग्नल्स आपके नहीं आ रहे हैं तो उस टाइम पे डेफिनेटली लोकल सर्वर पे या क्लाउड पे डाटा आपका नहीं आएगा। तो उस सिनेरियो में ये होगा कि एटलीस्ट डाटा आपका स्टोर हो जाएगा, ये नहीं होगा कि डाटा कलेक्ट नहीं हुआ। डाटा कलेक्ट हो जाएगा एज सुन एज द सिग्नल्स दे आर रिज्यूम, देन द डाटा विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड इमीडिएटली टू द लोकल सर्वर। बट ड्रोन की जो आप बात कर रहे हैं, ड्रोन का तो ये है ना, देखिए ड्रोन तो हम हर वक्त नहीं उड़ाएंगे, उसकी तो 1 या 2 फ्लाइट्स हम स्केड्यूल करते हैं वीक में, क्योंकि स्पेशली उसकी जो बैटरी है वो 30 से 40 मिनट तक लास्ट करती है, और उसके बाद वी नीड टू रिप्लेस द बैटरी एज वेल।
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am.
डॉक्टर राफिया, इसमें ये बताइए कि जो कॉस्ट के हवाले से व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व, और क्या इसको हम इस एंगल से वो कर सकते हैं कि जो फार्मर्स हैं उनके लिए सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल हो? सो व्हाट आर योर कमेंट्स ऑन टू इट?
सर, इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ देखिए ये है कि जब हमने इस सिस्टम को डेवलप किया था, तो ये टोटली पूरा एक रिसर्च बेस्ड प्रोजेक्ट था। स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली दिस प्रोजेक्ट गेन वेरी वाइड स्प्रेड पॉपुलैरिटी, और बहुत से लोगों ने मुझसे यही सवाल किए कि अगर हम इस प्रोजेक्ट को कमर्शियल एंगल से देखें या फार्मर के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखें तो हम इसको कैसे आगे लेके चलेंगे। तो सर इसमें सबसे पहले तो मेरी सजेशन इसमें ये थी कि स्पेशली इसकी जो फार्मर्स को तो पहले हमें ट्रेन कराना पड़ेगा अगर ये वाला सिस्टम यूज़ करना है, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा इसका वेब पोर्टल जिस तरह से हमने डिज़ाइन किया हुआ है वो इस तरह का कि साइंटिफिक पर्सन ही उसको थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंड कर सकता है। या तो हम उसको थोड़ा सा सिंपल करें और उसमें ऑडियो फीचर्स डाल दें जिसमें वो उर्दू में बता दे कि ये इस वक्त क्रॉप को ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ हुआ है, उसको इस तरीके से एड्रेस करो, जिसमें हमें और भी बहुत ज़्यादा भी काम करना पड़ेगा। ये जो सिस्टम बना हुआ है ये काफ़ी सिंपल है, इसमें और मज़ीद फीचर्स हमें ऐड करने पड़ेंगे। अगर आप कॉस्ट की बात करते हैं जो कि अभी सिर्फ बना हुआ है, तो हमने थोड़ी सी कॉस्टिंग इसकी की थी और वो भी लास्ट ईयर की मेरे पास हुई हुई है। अब जैसे डॉलर की प्राइस अब इंक्रीज़ होगी तो मे बी उसको मुझे दोबारा रिवाइज करना पड़े। तो ये 9 नोट्स की जो कॉस्ट है वो तकरीबन $534 थी, जिसमें अभी सॉफ्टवेयर की कॉस्ट इंक्लूडेड नहीं है। ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ हार्डवेयर की कॉस्ट मैंने अभी आपको बताई है।
I think this is very interesting. Any other question by anyone else?
Yeah, I have one question, and it is very
Please.
informative for me. So I am interested in what kind of analytics that you are displaying on the dashboard. Like, is it some kind of descriptive analytics or predictive analytics?
Descriptive and predictive both. I can, if we have time, maybe I can show you the web portal. But the thing is that I don't know whether you like the web portal at the moment or not. It needs a lot of maturity, but I can show you that how we have collected the data, how the data is archived. अच्छा, मैं आपसे शेयर कर दूँगी, हटाना पड़ेगा। Is my screen visible to you?
जी बिल्कुल।
अच्छा, इसमें आप देख सकते हैं ये हमने एक इसका जो पहला पेज है इस पे डिफरेंट विजुअल एनालिटिक्स कहा हुआ है। इसमें सारे जो डिफरेंट सेंसर्स हमने इंस्टॉल किए थे नोट्स के वो यहाँ पर आ जाते हैं। जैसे मैं आपको दिखा भी दूँ, अभी तो असल में क्योंकि हमने ये सिस्टम उतारा हुआ है तो इस पर मुझे थोड़ा सा प्रीवियस डेटा देखना पड़ता है। जो भी लास्ट इसमें डेटा सेव हुआ है वो भी आपको शो हो रहा है, यानी कि पिछले 8 आवर्स का डेटा ग्रुप हो के आपके पास आ जाए, या फिर 1 आवर के इंटरवल से एवरेज होकर डेटा आपके पास शो हो जाए, तो एटलीस्ट आपके पास ये एक प्रोफाइल आ जाती है जिससे आपको पता चल जाता है कि क्रॉप अभी किस तरह का बिहेव कर रही है, या फिर अभी ये कंडीशंस क्या हैं वहाँ पे, वेदर कंडीशंस किस तरह की हैं। इसके अलावा अगर मैं आपको कुछ और दिखाऊं, जैसे ये कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस है जिसमें आप ये देख सकते हैं कि अगर आप दो पैरामीटर्स को कंपेयर करना चाहें कि ह्यूमिडिटी को और अपने एयर टेम्परेचर का लेट सपोज कोई रिलेशनशिप देखना है, तो मैं यहाँ से लाइन चार्ट चूज़ कर लूँ। डेट में भी मैं काफ़ी पुरानी लूँगी क्योंकि पुराना डेटा मैंने देखना है। मे बी मैं जनवरी का ले लूँ। Let's post this. तो इस तरह से आपके पास ये डेटा यहाँ पे डिस्प्ले हो जाता है, जिससे आपको पता चल जाएगा कि ह्यूमिडिटी अगर इंक्रीज हो रही है तो टेम्परेचर इज माइट बी डिक्रीजिंग, समथिंग लाइक दैट। इसके अलावा ड्रोन की और एनडीवीआई के इमेजेस जो हैं वो हमारे पास पड़े हुए हैं। सारा आर्काइव हमने यहाँ पे करके रखा हुआ है, सारा स्पेक्ट्रल डेटा है, बहुत सारे मंथ्स का हमने स्टोर किया हुआ है। पर चूँकि ये छोटे छोटे चंक्स होते हैं तो उनको हमें स्टिच करना पड़ता है, और स्टिचिंग के लिए हमने प्रोसेसिंग उसकी अलग से एक सॉफ्टवेयर में की थी और फिर बाद में हमने उसका मैप बना के जो है गूगल मैप पे उसको डिस्प्ले कराया हुआ है। तो ये जितने छोटे छोटे इमेजेस हमारे पास मिलते हैं फिर आप इसको जोड़ के उसके ऊपर फिर हमने एनडीवीआई मैपिंग जो है ना वो की हुई है। तो ये येलो येलो से रीजन आपको नज़र आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे, या तो सॉइल है या फिर ये स्ट्रेस्ड रीजन, स्ट्रेस है क्रॉप का। जनवरी का ये डेटा इसी तरह थोड़ा सा डेटा मैंने इस पर रखा हुआ, भी ज़्यादा नहीं है, रिलेटेड टू द सैटेलाइट इमेजरी। इसी तरह जो हेल्थ मैप्स हैं वो आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं। ये एनडीवीआई का मैप है और ये आईओटी और एनडीवीआई दोनों को यूज़ करके बना हुआ है। इस तरह मैं आपको दिसंबर का दिखा सकती हूँ। रियल टाइम डेटा जो है हमारे पास काफ़ी बल्क में कलेक्टेड है। अभी हमने चूँकि नोट्स उतारी हुई हैं तो मैं आपको यहाँ से डेटा दिखा देती हूँ 1 महीने का। तो इस तरह आपके पास एक पूरा सारे नोट्स का जो है वो डेटा आ रहा होता है। पोल का मतलब है हमारी नोट्स हैं जितनी 7-8 लगी हुई थी उन सब की डेटा यहाँ पे आफ्टर एवरी 1 मिनट या कुछ 5 मिनट के इंटरवल से आते हैं।
So can I ask one more question?
जी जी प्लीज।
So based on these data, is it possible that your system can predict like that some disease could be possible in next month or so?
देखिए जब हम डिज़ीज़ की बात करते हैं ना तो डिज़ीज़ के लिए हमें बहुत ज़्यादा क्लोज इमेजेस चाहिए, जिस पे अभी मैं नेक्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट कर भी रही हूँ नेशनल सेंटर फॉर आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के साथ। ड्रोन की इमेजरी जो है ना वो इनफ नहीं है डिज़ीज़ बताने के लिए। वो आपको ये तो बता सकेगी शायद कि डिज़ीज़ आ गई है यहाँ पे क्योंकि मे बी क्रॉप का जो कलर कॉन्टेंट है वो डिफरेंट होगा। तो वो डिज़ीज़ कौन सी आई है उसके लिए बहुत क्लोज इमेजेस आपको चाहिए होते हैं। उसके बाद फिर आप उन इमेजेस के ऊपर लेबलिंग करें, उसके डिफरेंट लेवल्स होते हैं। ससेप्टेबल लेवल है, उसका रेजिस्टेबल लेवल है, हेल्दी एक लेवल है। तो वो लेबलिंग करने के बाद फिर आप डीप लर्निंग एल्गोस लगा के फिर उसकी प्रेडिक्शन कर सकते हैं कि ये इसका स्प्रेड आप एटलीस्ट निकाल सकते हैं कि कितने टाइम में कितना स्प्रेड इसका हो जाएगा, आपको कौन सा फंगीसाइड इस स्टेज पे अप्लाई करने की ज़रूरत है। पर ड्रोन की इमेजरी जो है ना डिजीज़ को पर्टिकुलर डिजीज़ को डिटेक्ट करने के लिए इज़ नॉट सूटेबल।
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rafia. I will introduce to one of the company जो के इस एरिया में काम कर रही है, साइब्रिड के नाम से उनका काफ़ी वो इनिशिएटिव है. So I will introduce you to them also and we will work with हुसैन साहब also. ये हुसैन साहब को आपने complete presentation दी थी?
सर हुसैन साहब के साथ मेरी डिस्कशन इनफॉर्मल थी बहुत ज़्यादा, तो उनको मैंने कुछ स्लाइड्स दिखाई थी, मतलब उनको तो मैं शायद ये पोर्टल भी नहीं दिखा सकी थी, टाइम हमारा काफ़ी हो गया था डिस्कशन में।
अच्छा.
तो वो अपनी कंपनी के बारे में जी
I wish के हुसैन साहब इस सेशन को ज्वाइन कर लेते, but no problem. We will have some other session with him also separately.
ठीक है सर।
Over to Hashim.
Okay, thank you, Dr. So with this, we can close this session. Normally, we do have round of introductions, so I'll take a minute to do that. I see new faces. Dr. Usman, maybe would you care to introduce yourself? कहाँ से हैं और अभी IoT में क्या कर रहे हैं?
My name is Usman and I have completed my PhD from South Korea and I'm assistant professor in Rifa University. And these sessions are very informative for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So with this, we can in fact let me take a moment and जो Dr. Rashid साहब आपको बता रहे थे new product development का, I'll share my screen just to speak to that for a minute and then we can close this session. So these are the activities that we are planning around new product development, and these are primarily aimed at the students and faculty where हम बच्चों को जो यूनिवर्सिटीज में हैं and the faculty both उनको ये इस चीज़ से रोशनास करवा रहे हैं कि new product development के लिए what are some of the key aspects that you need to understand or learn or keep in mind. Technologies is something that is being taught at the universities. Companies like us are helping them with the industrial skills, but this whole methodology around development of a new product. So there's going to be a series of seminars in May. Three aspects where we'll be having recurring sessions. One is the productization, how a product is developed. The second is going to be technology, and third is going to be the sort of the paperwork or the legal aspects like intellectual property and so on. And these are the subject matter experts in these areas. Imran Khan would be focusing on technology. He is based out of US. Salahuddin, he will be focusing on the productization aspect. He is also based out of US. And then we have Louise Kennedy. She is going to be helping us with the legal aspects. इस सेमिनार में there is going to be a practical part as well where we have designed an educational robot design competition so that जो आप इस सेमिनार में सीख रहे हैं प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर you can get to use that knowledge and start developing a real product. And there will be a reward that Imran will be funding up to rupees 1 million for the winner, and for runners up there will be 4 lakh each. ये भी अनाउंस नहीं हुआ, but this is something that we are planning. We are building some inroads into universities as well as open जो organization of Pakistani entrepreneurs of North America है. So in case any one of you would like to participate or have some ideas, you can always reach out to us.
इसमें राफिया और उस्मान, आप दोनों इसे अपने यूनिवर्सिटियों में भी और स्टूडेंट्स को भी प्रमोट करो. This will be very, very useful.
Please, sir.
जी, sure.
Hashim.
Thank you, Rizab. So with this, we can close this session. The next IoT session is going to be 4 weeks from now. So keep checking your emails. अभी अगले हफ्ते हमारा cyber security भी होगा. So if you're interested, you're welcome to join that as well. The recordings, Jafar will be making them available on YouTube as well as the Spin Labs website. With this, thank you very much for joining and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Okay, dear.
Allah Hafiz.